The Scarab King is, for a lot of people's opinion, the hardest boss in Raid to beat. And today I want to show you a awesome, very viable strategy to beat this boss, and it is actually a solo team spotlighting a champion who is a Doom Tower reward, and that is Urost the Soul Cage. So Urost the Soul Cage, super cool looking champion, very fun. Void legendary you get from Doom Tower hard, completing these secret rooms. But once you get him, you unlock arguably the best champion in the game for the Scarab King, and basically the reasoning for that is his passive. When attacked, Call of the Cage, 50% chance of placing a 5% poison debuff on the attacker for 2 turns. And that's literally it. You just get attacked a ton. He places shield on himself, so he gives himself shield. And he's based on HP, so you put him in regen and immortal gear. That's how he's built. And then he heals himself up when he takes turns. But basically the boss will hit you a ton, take a ton of poisons, and poison himself to death. It is not a super fast team, but it is a super easy team. This build is probably overkill. Real quick, guys, get your free legendary LNRO by clicking the link in the description of this video right now. You also get 3 amazing epics in Fane, Ugo, and Tagore as you level up throughout the game. I have 4 simple steps for you today. Step 1, log out of Play and Play on your PC and uninstall it. Step 2, click on the link in the description of this video and register with a brand new email address. Step 3, launch Raid and complete the tutorial. Step 4, go to your inbox and claim your free legendary LNRO. Do not miss out on this chance to get a free legendary LNRO as well as 3 epics, so make sure to click on this link before it expires. 120,000 HP, he's based off of HP. 3,200 defense. I would say 3,000 is a minimum, but aim for 3,500. I would say like 80 to 90k is the minimum for HP, but I would aim for 100k. And then accuracy, 369, 350 is probably the minimum for accuracy. I have him in regen and immortal. You can probably do with 3 sets of immortal, because that will give you 45% HP and 9% healing. But right now we're getting 18% healing. For masteries, probably the best mastery for him is going to be Brimstone. So we'll give that a try. There are lots of good options. Emergency heal, if you're struggling with the build, you could put him in a blood shield, or you could just use the shield on his A1, and emergency heal could help you stay alive. Once you can stay alive, you literally just need the accuracy, and the boss will kill himself. Past that, you just need champions that can help you get through the waves, any basic damage dealer. So for example, I'm just going to throw in some random damage dealers that are going to die, but just do a little bit of damage first. So I would do Herndig, and then I'm trying to think who else I want to do that's got lots of AoEs. Nobody that's too tanky. Sure. And then he's got resistance in all battles. That's fine. You don't necessarily need resistance. It doesn't hurt to have it in this fight, but you definitely don't need it. The biggest difference, or the biggest important thing with Urost, is how fast can you get through the waves, because he can handle the boss. You just need someone else to get through the waves. So you can use a seer team, you can use, an arena type team, you can use whatever you want. But if you just use Urost, it will take a long time for him to get there. So I wouldn't recommend just using Urost. I typically would recommend throwing in somebody else. I know in the past I've seen some people do like, Septimus or Herndig, and just use their A1s until they kill everybody, but it's really whatever you want. The downside of bringing in more champions is the more champions you bring in, the more counterattacks you're going to get hit. So you kind of want them to die as soon as possible. So you can see that Urost is a lot tankier than these guys. That's why I wouldn't bring in like a defense-based champion. I would bring in a 1 or 2 very, very squishy champions, like a Baron or somebody that would just take a ton of damage and die fast. So you can see we're back to full health. We're healing for like 32,000, and we're not getting hit anywhere near that level. You can see a Brimstone proc there. Now, a few common misconceptions while this run is going. Again, it is not a super quick run. He destroys enemy max HP with his passive. It does not work against bosses, which is weird because he's a Scarab King specialist, and Scarab King is where you need to destroy enemy max HP. But he actually doesn't destroy it. You can see this bar at the top here is completely full. Sure, you could put him in a destroy set. I would not recommend it. It's not going to move the needle. It's not going to make a difference. It is all about the poisons here. That is really all we care about. On an unfortunate note, the new relic that increases poison damage would be awesome for this. It would be great. Now, granted, you don't build him with attack, but even if he only has 4,000 attack, every poison is now doing 2,000 more damage. That stacks up when you're beating him with poison. All of our poisons are doing 6,836. If all of them did 10,836, the run would go a lot faster. But guess what? That relic, for some reason, doesn't work against bosses. I've already made 2 videos about that. We're not going to keep talking about that. The point is, Brimstone will speed it up, and then you can build him for damage, but he's not going to hit hard. Like, he's hitting for less than like a third of what 1 poison damage will do. So there's realistically just no reason. You just want poisons. You could put him in a toxic set, I guess, but again, you have to make sure he's very tanky and will be able to stay alive. So if you did a toxic set and one immortal set, I don't think that will really be enough. So realistically, he just has to be in the healing set and just let him poison it. Now, if you want to farm it, you want to farm the Scarab King, this is a good way to do it. And you can probably put food champions in here as long as you don't take too much damage at the beginning of the boss fight. But you could definitely farm some food up that way. I would recommend just putting Urost in here with the wave clearers themselves. Even if you're going to farm it, this will be the faster way to do it. Typically, the run is about 3.5 to 4 minutes. You can see right now we're at 3 minutes and we're 3/4 of the way done or so. Unfortunately, with Brimstone, he only has one. The Scarab King only has one ability that's not an A1. So it's like 3 out of every 4 abilities are A1s. And then I think he'll do an A3. Or A2. So Brimstone is hard to proc. If you have Urost with like 100% Brimstone, then that's awesome. He'll do it all the time. But in our case, we just have a 2-star, a 3-star soul, 4-star soul. So Brimstone is pretty good. But realistically, I know I've said it a few times, it is legitimately all about the poisons. We're almost done at the end of this, so we're just vamping a little bit. And should be 1 or 2 more procs, 6,836 for each poison. More poisons there. The more times he attacks you, the more poisons you place on him. But again, on the A1, it's typically just that one time. Now, there are other champions you can pair Urost with, and I want to talk about that too for a second. But typically, the strategy here is a little bit different than most normal strategies. So there we go, 356, we've got our Void Shard. Urost did 1.4 million, Herndig and Gaelic just did the waves, basically. But basically, everything that we do is based off of those poisons, and you want the Scarab King to take as many turns as possible, so you want your Urost as slow as possible. Speed is really not your friend. That being said, you want a little bit of, it's weird, because it's a balancing act. You want a little bit of speed, so you're taking turns. The squishier you are, you want your champion to be faster, but if you're trying to optimize mid to late game, you want your Urost to be as slow as possible and just very, very tanky. So because mine is so tanky, because he's healing for 32,000, he doesn't have to go very often. But if you have an 80k with 33,000 defense, then you probably need to be a little bit faster. So you're making more turns to heal more often. But the less turns he takes, the more turns the boss will take, and the faster the boss will die. That is typically the opposite of regular Scarab King teams, because Scarab King, typically, when you fight it, you want to fight with Blood Shield accessories. I've made a video on this in the past, or just shielders, and you want to decrease turn meter. Now, you can kind of pair some of those hand in hand. So, for example, if you want to bring in an Armiger in a Destroy set with Immortal, you could build him in a Blood Shield ring, so he's keeping himself shielded. He could decrease some turn meter, but realistically, you're just going to do the enemy max HP and try and destroy that max HP bar as fast as possible. That's an option. But I would say a better option, if you have the champion, is Skull-Lord Vargal. Build him slow, high accuracy in a Blood Shield accessory. Same thing as you did with Urost. And his passive will decrease the boss's max HP every time that he's attacked. So then you can do it a little bit faster there. So I don't know if it's going to be way faster, but we can try that run one time, and I'll just probably do a cut so I can show you guys to see if it actually is truly faster. We'll do the same wave clearers. Let's replace Herndig. Let's just use Supreme Gaelic, and then we'll put in Skull-Lord. Okay, so we're going to use these 3 teams. We don't have enough silver keys, so I'll go farm some silver keys, use these 3, we'll be right back. Okay, so we've used Skull-Lord as well in the team, and it did speed it up a good bit. So we're at 253. Again, you kind of want him to die once he gets the destroyed max HP, about halfway down or all the way down. And then Urost is to do the rest of the work. Herndig, very good for the waves. Gaelic, good for the waves. You can pick whoever you want, but it does show the exact same wave clear. Skull-Lord makes it a minute faster. So that's definitely an option as well. And again, his build is not super important. He just needs that accuracy. So anyways, Urost Soul Cage, not the best champion anywhere else. Good ally protector, it's got some fun niche uses in the arena, but he is the best champion in the game to help you easily beat the Scarab King, and my Urost will stay in this build pretty much forever. No one will take this gear, and anytime Scarab King comes up, my goodness, anytime the Scarab King comes up, we will be using Urost in this build. So anyways, like the video, subscribe to the channel for more daily raid content, and I'll see you guys on the next one.